E. So today we're going to learn the long versus the short sound of E. The long sound is its name, E. The short sound is its common sound that you learned first, probably when you were in kindergarten, eh. It's important to have your mouth shape correct on these. So when you say E, your mouth should be long and kind of stretched. E. See that? It's kind of like a smile. E. When you say your jaw has to be dropped medium. Medium. So if you drop your jaw a lot, ah, or open it wide, ah, those sounds totally change. Your mouth has to be open, just kind of medium, just kind of hanging there a little bit. Eh, your tongue is back, and it's like exit, elbow, excellent, example, express. There comes another sneeze. Nope, it went away again. So that is its short sound. E is its long. E is long is the name. Okay, long is the name of the letter. Now, how are you supposed to know when you're spelling? Well, first of all, today we're going to do a lot of the tap 2 rule. It's going to be the tap 2 rule only today. You're going to get so good at that rule, and it really is a game changer for so many words when you come to them. So when you're spelling the E sound, if there is another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots, you're going to use a single E, stop, you're done. Because you probably also know that an EE says E, like in feet. An EA says E, like in eat, right? But if you can use a single letter, E, if there's already a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots, you don't have to do anything else. So that's what we're going to do today, is the E versus the E. If you're spelling the E sound, there are 2 ways to spell that sound, but we always start with the single letter first. And E is the most common spelling for the sound by far. So when you hear use an E for the E sound and the S sound. You just have to, when we're spelling now, we have to figure out how many consonants are after it and how many vowels are after it. That's what we're going to do right now. So let me just, egg, good. Okay, let me share my screen and we will get working. All right, let's try number 1 together. Our first word is ETEP. ETEP. So we're going to separate our sounds first. We have E, T, E, P. Consonants. E, T, E, P. Vowels. For the E sound, I always start with an E first. And if there's another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots, and there is, I can see right there, then stop, you're done. That E can say E right there just fine. You don't need an EE or an EA because these, they're adding another vowel if there's like 2 consonants after it. Or, well, we'll get there. We're going to have an EE and an EA lesson. But for now, we don't need to add another vowel because there's already one in the next 1 or 2 spots. So a single E works just fine. And then for the S sound, we always try the E first. And if there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors away, we're good, we're golden. So that says E-tep. That E says right there, just fine. E-tep. E-tep. That's why those 2 E's say 2 different things. Isn't that knowledge that you love having? Okay, your word is EBEF. EBEF. Try this one on your own. And then put it in the chat for me so I can see, or the Q&A. EBEF. EBEF. When you're done, let me see it in the chat. Good, Joel. Nice, Gwen. Good. Good, good. EBEF. Right. Okay, so let me just stop sharing my screen. On this one, F and TH can be really hard to discriminate auditorily. So with your ears, anything that you hear the word, if you hear the word auditory, audio, that means through your ears. That's a Greek prefix that means what you hear. So when you hear an F or a TH, sometimes your ears have a hard time discriminating between those two sounds, right? Is it with a F, throw a ball, or a throw a ball? They sound so similar. It's all about the mouth shape. It's all about the mouth shape. So on this one, my top teeth are going over my bottom lip and saying, it's hard, right? I'm making the F sound. So I'm just giving you that answer right there. So our consonants for EBEF are E, B, E, F. Okay. Vowels. For the E sound, I'm going to start with an E. Will it say E there? Sure will, because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. For the E sound, I also start with an E, because E can say E or it can say E, depending on what's after it. This one can say E because of that vowel right there. This one doesn't have a vowel 1 or 2 doors away, so it's not going to say E. It's going to make its regular short sound E. So there's EBEF. EBEF. All right, number 2. Let's try the word prentem together. Prentem. P, R, E, N, T, E, M. Consonants. P, R, E, N, T, E, M. Vowels. Can this E say eh here? Sure can, because there's 2 consonants after it. It's perfect, just the way it is. I don't need to double that in, because there's already 2 consonants right there. The T works just fine. And then here for the eh, do I have to double this M? In order for an E to say eh, must it have 2 consonants? Yes, if it's in the middle of the word. However, if it's at the end and there's a consonant and a space there, that's perfectly fine. It's the main thing is to know that there's not a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. Here's a spot, here's a spot. That's not a vowel, that's not a vowel, so that's all we need. It either has to be 2 consonants like this, or a consonant in the end of the word, and then those E's can say eh. So there's prentem. Okay, your word, slendem. Slendem. Go ahead, make sure that you have the same number of lines. My mouth is open in the middle. And my mouth is closed at the end. My mouth is open in the middle and closed at the end. Slendem. You're welcome, Emily. Slendem. Nemat and Sheath, I want to address what you made a really smart decision when you spelled that last word, and I want to address it right after this one. Good. Slendem. There we go. They're starting to come in now. Slendem. If you're still working, take your time. Good, Cameron. Slendem. Oh, you guys are such good spellers. Excellent. Slendem. Okay, consonants. Oh, wait, here comes some more. My mouth is open medium with slendem. And my mouth is closed at the end and it just stays closed. There you go. Okay, consonants. S, L, E, N, D, E, M. Now here I have an E and here I have an E. This E works fine right here because there's 2 consonants after it. This E works fine right here because there's a consonant and then a space. There is slendem. Now, if you didn't get it, I bet you got close. I bet you got close. And that's a good solid B plus, A minus. Okay, my friends? I bet you got most of those sounds beautifully. And the thing is, you're learning how to spell now by learning how to spell sounds, not words. You're learning how to spell sounds so that you can spell any word. Like if you learn how to spell a list of 10 words for a spelling list, then you know how to spell those 10 words only. But if you know how to spell sounds, then you can spell 100 words, 1,000 words. That's why we're doing nonsense words. And that's why, as long as you're getting most of those sounds right, you are in the right direction, okay? Perfection is not the most important thing. All right. I wanted to address, I don't know if it was Nima or Sheath who wrote the last word. It was this EBEF right here with 2 Fs. That was a really intelligent choice because a lot of words end with 2 Fs. However, the trick is, in order for a word to end with 2 Fs, it can have only one vowel in it. So if the word was just Beth, then yeah, you would need 2 Fs. But don't worry, I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to teach you all about when to put 2 Fs at the end a little bit later. I think that's in September. For now, you don't ever have to guess. You don't ever have to wonder, is this what she means? If you haven't learned it, if I haven't taught it to you, then it's not necessary. Okay, I'm going to teach you every little tiny thing you need to know to spell sounds. Okay, number 3. Oh, it was sheath. Okay. Number 3 is, now I like these next two because they can be a little challenging, but you guys love a good challenge, so enjoy. This first one is LFM. LFM sounds. So if you think the word LFM, people who aren't in that class might think that it's an L, an F, and an M. LFM. LFM, but not you. You're learning how to separate sounds and spell sounds. And you know that word is 6 sounds, not 3. So, good job already. Let's separate those sounds. We have L, F, okay? Consonants. L, F, Vowels. Can this E say here? Nope, because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. That would force that E to say E. I don't want it to say E. I want it to say That means you have to have 2 consonants after it. If there's not 2, make 2. Now that E can say I want this E to say Can it say here? Nope, because there is a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. That would force it to say E. I don't want it to say E. I want it to say In order for it to make it short sound there has to be 2 consonants after it, or a consonant and then the end of the word. If there's not 2, make 2. Now it can say And then this you can say here just fine because there's a consonant and then the end of the word. Now, you should feel very smart knowing how to spell LFM. Nobody else in your class is going to know how to spell that word. Now, and here's the next one that I'm going to let you do on your own, and you're going to have so much fun with this. Okay, get ready. This is going to be so much fun. And if you don't get it right on, it's going to be fun anyway. The journey is going to be the fun part. Your word is SSM. SSM. S, S, Make sure you have the same number of lines as me. SSM. And then let me see your in the Q&A when you have it, but take your time. Oh, close. That was close. Everybody's close so far. All right. We've got one that's got it. One that's got it. 2 that have got it. 3 that have got it. Everybody else is like so close. Okay. I told you this one was a fun challenge. Okay, for SSM, we have consonants first, right? S, Now, can this E say here? No, because there's a vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots right there. That would force it to say E. I don't want it to say E. I want it to say That requires 2 consonants after it. If there's not 2, make 2. I want this E to say Can it say here? No, because there's a vowel in the next one or two spots. That would force it to say E. I don't want it to say E. I want it to say eh. Eh requires two consonants after it. If there's not two, make two. And then this E can say eh right here just fine because it's a consonant and then the end of the word. There is SSM. SSM. Now that one would be a fun one to ask your friends or your parents or somebody. Very good. How to spell that word. That one was fun, right? I know. Okay, let's leave on a little bit of an easier one. I think we can fit a couple more easier ones in here. Maybe one easy and one medium. Let's do the medium one first. I want you to do, okay, this one's kind of hard actually. Plemetep. Plemetep. Go ahead. P-L-E-M-E-T-E-P. Take your time. Plemetep. This one is a hard one. Plemetep. 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 All right, they're starting to come in. Okay, good. Plemetep. All right. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness, you guys are so fast in learning this stuff. Consonants. We have p, l, e, m, e, t, e, p. For the E sound, I always start with a single E. Can that say E there? Yeah, because there's a vowel one or two doors down. It's perfect. You don't have to do anything else. For the E sound, I'm going to start with an E, but can this E say E here? No, because of that vowel one or two doors away. It requires two consonants after it. If there's not two, make two. Now it can say E. Short vowels require two consonants after them or a consonant in the end of the word. Like this E can say E here just fine because there's not a vowel one or two doors away. There's plemetep. Good. I bet you got close if you didn't get it right on. Last one, little bit of an easier one. Not easy, but a little easier. Elest. Elest. E, L, S, T. Go for it. Elest. Elest. Good, Joel. There you go. Nice. Elest. Okay. Elest. Good, good, good. That's what I'm talking about. So our consonants E, L, S, T, E. Can E say E here? Yeah, because of that vowel right there. Can E say E here? Yeah, because there's two consonants after it. Now look what you know. You know that that E can say E because there's a vowel in the next one or two spots. You know that that E says because there's not a vowel in the next one or two spots. That knowledge is like a gold mine. That knowledge is so valuable because it's going to help you spell so many words. If you're spelling a short vowel, there has to be two consonants after it or a consonant and then the end of the word. The short vowel are those sounds that we learned when we were short. Ah, eh, ah. If you're spelling the long sound, the name, A-E-I-O-U, there has to be another vowel one or two doors away. Now that might still be sounding a little new to you, but don't worry, we repeat so much in here. Pretty soon it's going to be it's going to be solid. You're going to know, you're going to be able to teach it. You're going to be able to teach your teacher. I bet you could do that right now, can't you? I hope you feel good about yourself. I do. I'm so proud of you. Good job today, my friends. I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.